Picture this. Rome, 160 AD, a wealthy merchant walks into the luxurious Baths of Trajan, anticipating a relaxing afternoon. The marble gleams, steam rises from the heated pools, laughter echoes off the vaulted ceilings. He disrobes, slips into the warm water, and joins dozens of other naked bodies, soaking in what Romans called civilization's greatest pleasure. 3 days later, he's dead, his skin covered in pustules, his family quarantined, his body burned before sunrise. This wasn't a rare tragedy, it was routine. Because what if I told you that the very symbol of ancient sophistication, the legendary public baths, were actually floating petri dishes of disease, crime, and moral decay? That for every person who praised them, another refused to step foot inside? Today, we're uncovering the dark truth about why many ancient people absolutely despised public baths. And the reasons might make you think twice about that hotel hot tub. When we think of ancient Rome, images of grand bathhouses immediately come to mind. The Baths of Caracalla, the Baths of Diocletian, architectural marvels that could accommodate thousands of people simultaneously. These weren't just places to get clean, they were social hubs, political meeting grounds, and symbols of Roman engineering prowess. By the peak of the Roman Empire, Rome alone had nearly 1,000 public baths. Citizens could enter for mere quadrans, the smallest Roman coin. It seemed like paradise. Free-flowing hot water, massage rooms, libraries, gardens, and even snack bars. But here's what the travel brochures of ancient times didn't tell you. While some Romans praised the baths as the pinnacle of civilization, a growing number of ancient physicians, philosophers, and religious leaders were sounding the alarm. Early Christians called them temples of vice. Greek doctors wrote treatises warning against their dangers. Even some Roman senators avoided them entirely, bathing privately at home, despite the social stigma. Why? Because beneath the marble facades and scented oils lurked a nightmare of health hazards, criminal activity, and social problems that killed thousands and scandalized entire communities. This is the untold story of ancient Rome's most controversial institution. The first and most deadly problem was sanitation, or the complete lack of it. Here's the horrifying truth. Roman public baths rarely changed their water. Thousands of people would use the same pools throughout the day, every day, sometimes for weeks. There was no chlorine, no filtration systems, no understanding of germ theory. The Romans did have aqueducts bringing fresh water in, but the flow-through rate couldn't keep up with the contamination from hundreds of sweating, urinating, defecating bodies sharing the same pools. Ancient physician Celsus documented numerous outbreaks of what we now know were waterborne diseases: dysentery, typhoid, eye infections, and skin diseases spreading rapidly through bathhouse communities. The warm water, so prized for relaxation, was actually the perfect temperature for bacterial growth. Deadly pathogens thrived in the tepidarium and caldarium pools. But disease wasn't the only danger. The baths became notorious centers for crime and immoral behavior. Thieves worked the changing rooms, stealing clothes and valuables while owners bathed. Without gender segregation in many earlier bathhouses, the baths gained reputations as venues for prostitution and sexual deviancy. Multiple Roman emperors issued edicts trying to enforce separate bathing hours for men and women, acknowledging the corruption happening in mixed company. The bathhouses that Rome celebrated as civilization's triumph critics saw as civilization's downfall, literally killing Romans while destroying their moral fiber. Let's dive deeper into the medical catastrophe. The Roman writer Seneca lived above a bathhouse and documented the chaos. The sounds alone would drive you mad: the grunting of weightlifters, the slapping of massage oils, the shouts of ball players. But more disturbing were his observations about illness. He noticed that frequent bath-goers often developed chronic coughs, skin rashes, and what he called bath fever, likely a combination of fungal infections and heat exhaustion. The Strigel's curved metal scrapers used to clean oil and dirt from skin were often shared between bathers without any cleaning. Imagine dozens of people using the same blade across their entire bodies, creating microscopic cuts that became infection highways. Archaeological evidence from Pompeii and Herculaneum shows communal sponges on sticks used for toilet hygiene at bathhouse latrines, shared among all users. The same sponge, the same stick, multiple people. The water temperature itself created dangers. Roman engineers were so proud of their hypocaust heating systems that they often overheated the caldarium pools to near scalding temperatures. Fainting was common. Deaths from heat stroke were documented but often covered up by bathhouse owners who feared losing business. And when users moved from the hot caldarium to the frigidarium ice-cold plunge pools, the thermal shock caused heart attacks, especially in older Romans with cardiovascular problems. Ancient physicians like Galen repeatedly warned against this practice, but the cultural pressure to endure it as a sign of Roman toughness persisted. The turning point came in the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD, when Rome faced repeated plague outbreaks, most famously the Antonine Plague, and later the Plague of Cyprian. Modern historians estimate these pandemics killed between 5 to 10 million people across the Roman Empire. While the exact causes remain debated, contemporary sources directly linked the rapid spread to public gathering places, especially the baths. Imagine the scene. As plague ravaged Rome in 165 AD, physicians begged authorities to close the bathhouses. But the bath industry was too powerful, too economically significant. The baths remained open. Infected people seeking relief from fever in the cool pools instead contaminated the water and infected dozens of others. Each bathhouse became a plague amplifier, broadcasting disease throughout the city faster than any other vector. Christian writers of the period saw this as divine judgment. They'd been warning for generations that the baths represented everything wrong with pagan Rome: the nakedness, the gluttony, the sexual license, the worship of bodily pleasure over spiritual purity. When plague struck bathhouse enthusiasts while passing over Christians who avoided them, it seemed to confirm their prophecies. The physician Galen himself fled Rome during the Antonine Plague, abandoning his patients. He knew the baths made the city a death trap. This marked the beginning of the end. After the plague subsided, bath attendants never fully recovered. The institution that once defined Roman civilization became associated with death and divine punishment. Within 2 centuries, as Christianity rose to dominance, most public baths would be abandoned, destroyed, or converted to churches. The legacy of Roman public baths is complicated. They were genuine engineering marvels that demonstrated Roman technical sophistication. They did serve important social functions, allowing different classes to mingle and conduct business. And yes, in a time when most homes lacked running water, they provided access to bathing that would otherwise be impossible for common people. But the critics were right about the dangers. Modern archaeological and historical analysis confirms that Roman bathhouses were indeed disease factories. Studies of ancient Roman remains show high rates of parasitic infections, actually higher than in earlier periods before public baths became common. The very thing Romans believed made them civilized was actually making them sick. The early Christians, Jews, and other groups who refused to use public baths were ostracized and mocked as dirty or antisocial. But their alternative private bathing, fewer communal water sources, and religious laws about cleanliness likely protected them from waterborne diseases. It is darkly ironic that the barbarians, who eventually conquered Rome, often had better hygiene practices than the Romans themselves. Today, we've learned the lessons ancient critics tried to teach. Modern pools use chlorination, filtration, and strict health codes. We understand germ theory. We don't share strigils or toilet sponges, thankfully. But the next time you see a historical documentary romanticizing ancient Roman baths, remember, thousands of Romans agreed with you that they'd rather stay home, and staying home probably saved their lives. So here is a question for you. Would you have used the public baths if you lived in ancient Rome, knowing what you know now? Or would you have been one of the outcasts who bathed at home? Let me know in the comments below, because I'm genuinely curious if social pressure would have outweighed health concerns for you. If this story changed how you think about ancient Rome, smash that like button and subscribe for more historical deep dives that challenge everything you thought you knew. We're uncovering the uncomfortable truths behind history's greatest civilizations. Next time, we're reinvestigating why ancient Egyptians feared their own tombs and the deadly traps they built to keep everyone out, including themselves. You won't believe what archaeologists found sealed inside. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and remember, history is never as clean as the textbooks make it seem.